hardest hike I've ever done. Today, we're taking a journey into one of the most stunning and challenging natural areas in the northeastern United States, the Adirondack High Peaks Wilderness. At over 6 million acres, this isn't just a big park, it's the largest protected wilderness area in all of the contiguous U.S., larger than Yellowstone, the Grand Canyon, Yosemite, and Glacier National Parks combined. But its vast size is only part of the story. The High Peaks Wilderness isn't just about the summits. It's home to stunning features like Avalanche Lake, nestled between towering cliffs, waterfalls, and the beautiful cascades of Johns Brook. The Adirondack High Peaks Wilderness offers an unforgettable adventure for anyone willing to accept its challenges. Stay forever wild. I have about an hour and a half to go, and I've stopped in the village of Speculator, taking a little bit more of a substantial break to have a sandwich. Been driving since 7 o'clock in the morning. It is currently 5 p.m. I'm going to enjoy the view. So after nearly 12 hours of driving, I've landed at my Airbnb in the Adirondack Mountains. This place is super cute. Figured I'd give you a little room tour of the Love Shack here in Elizabethtown. Little mini fridge, got a coffee maker. All right, well, I'd say 12 hours of driving calls for step 2. And today I've got above the bridge, blueberry lager. My wife and her friend Tanya just did a trip up to Pictured Rocks, and she brought me back a couple of these, so it's gonna be my first time trying this. Oh, that's delightful. There is definitely a nice, like, real blueberry flavor. All right, I had an excellent sleep last night. Woke up bright and early, 4:30 a.m. I still have about an hour till sunrise, and I'm on my way to Rooster Comb parking area. Behind me, oh God, like that's not going to do it justice, but there is this a beautiful sunrise about to happen with the silhouette of the mountains. So excited. Well, not only was I able to get parking at Rooster Comb, but that's a VIP parking if I've ever seen it. All right, here we go. First steps into the Adirondack High Peaks Wilderness. So it's 49 degrees this morning, and I'm already down to a t-shirt and running shorts, as this trail is no joke. There's absolutely no switchback. You are just climbing straight up. All right, I've hit my first trail junction, and I'm headed this way to Rooster Comb Mountain, followed by Lower and Upper Wolf Jaw. One hour and 12 minutes, 1,500 feet, and 2.2 miles of non-stop climbing. And I've made it to my next junction, and I've got half a mile to go before I reach the peak of Rooster Comb. Next junction, Hedgehog Mountain to Lower Wolf Jaw. So this is the trail here. It is rugged, it is wild, it is narrow. It has definitely been a challenge so far because I've just been going straight up the entire time, and I'm at 2.5 miles right now. Well, here we are, the summit of Mount Hedgehog. Not much for a view, but this boulder right here signifies the peak. Next trail marker. I've got 1.5 miles to Lower Wolfjaw. This has been one of the most challenging hikes I've ever done. Surely at some point today, I'll be rewarded with an amazing view. 3,027 feet, 2 hours, 42 minutes, 4.43 miles. And this is why it's slow going. A lot of what you're hiking, scrambling up boulders, stepping over big rocks and roots. And I'm not complaining. It's definitely a proper challenge, but I'm enjoying every minute of it. 3,400 feet, 5 miles later, and I'm finally just now getting my first teaser of a scenic view here. When I say that this trail is technical, not playing around. When I had less than 1/4 mile to Lower Wolfjaw, and I seen that I'm only at 3,500 feet, I knew something like this was coming. And that's not a hike, that's a climb. So yeah, that was a little dangerous and scary. All right, this is the peak of Lower Wolfjaw. Stopped for a little pack-off break, had some lunch, met some other folks up here, and well, I think the next couple minutes I'm gonna pack back up and continue on because I've got a long, treacherous journey right there. That's Mount Marcy. A heck of a view. All right, Upper Wolfjaw Mountain, about 1 mile to go. I thought I lost the trail here because I just came to this wall, and then there's just this slit that you can't really get through with a root inside of it. Nope, I just have to somehow get up and over this rock. All right, so yeah, I guess the trail's up there. Yeah, I would say this is the hardest hike I've ever done. Coming to terms that I might actually camp out at Ore Bed Creek tonight instead of Snowbird. And what I might end up doing instead of doing a circuit is just stick to doing the Great Range Traverse. We'll see what happens, because I think I'm gonna need a 0 day somewhere between this trip. Pardon my heavy breathing. 4,800 feet, 5 hours, 7 miles. This is the top of Upper Wolfjaw. And what a spectacular view. You wouldn't want to miss it. Don't pass it up on the trail, even if you're struggling. It's only another 30 seconds to get to the top. So next summit will be Armstrong. Ghost pipe. Coming across a few ghost pipes here. One of the few plants that don't require photosynthesis. Easily mistaken for a mushroom. (5,044 feet, 5 hours, 49 minutes, 7.5 miles. And climbing this ladder. It has been a tough day, but this view definitely makes up for it. I mean, I've done some pretty big hikes in Alaska and in the Southwest. This has been by far the most challenging and the most breathtaking. I mean, don't get me wrong, Grand Canyon, pretty close runner-up. Harding Ice Field in Alaska was pretty amazing, but this is just a different beast. All right, my next destination are the Gothics. Now it's 1:30 and I've been out for about 7 hours now. And I've gone 8.25 miles 5,500 feet. And suddenly, biology has changed. I can just tell I'm about to be treated to an amazing view.
All these wonders that surround me, all these treasures that my heart can hold. Yeah, this world is beautiful. There's a path high in the mountains where the clouds don't even dare to go.
Finally, up on a ridge.
Where the view's so beautiful. Follow me where the
Probably not for long.
trails end. Follow me to water's warm like an old friend. We'll stick our tongues out at the river.
That's the eastern Gothic peak right over there. That's where I just came from, where that geological survey marker was. And you can still see that father and son in their chairs. Well, I can anyways. Scenery has been absolutely breathtaking, but this trail has chewed me up and spit me out. I am absolutely beat up. So I'm rethinking my strategy here. And I definitely think I'm gonna go to Ore Brook and overnight there. All right, this might be a contender for the best view I've seen so far. This is the trail. This is the trail. All right. Those cables have got to start somewhere around here, because that's getting pretty dang steep. Well, climbing down that was no joke. Sheesh. So here goes nothing. Well, made it to the end of that. Yeah, it turns out that wasn't the end. Well, I'm at a crossroads here. The Ore Bed Brook campsite and lean-to is just under 2 miles. Pretty easy trail from here, and I'll have access to water pretty much right away. And that's something I'm a little worried about. I brought 2.5 liters of water, but I am already running out because this has been a tremendous effort. Who's a lucky duck? That would be me. This is gonna be a perfect place to call home tonight. Well, 11.13 miles, 9, almost 10 hours. I did pause it for a half hour while I took a break on Lower Wolfjaw, and over 6,000 feet of elevation. I am properly cooked. Nature's premium filter right here. Heck yeah. For my backcountry cocktail, I've got 1 part apple Crown Royal and 2 parts water with a single noon tablet. It's grapefruit orange flavored. That's pretty good. So today's dinner is beef pasta marinara by Peak. Although I just spilled a little bit of it on myself, so I guess that makes me a bear pasta marinara. Bear canister hiding spot. Well, it ended up raining all night last night. From the time I got back from having dinner down by the brook until about maybe half an hour ago. It's currently 7 o'clock in the morning. For breakfast, I'm doing my traditional oatmeal. I've got Justin's almond butter, and I've got a pouch of freeze-dried fruit. So there's peach, strawberry, and apple in here. So sprinkle some of this on there. And then I've got Kuju cloud creamer with my Trader Joe's instant coffee. You probably won't ever see me changing up from that. Gotta love a good old-fashioned backwoods pretty. I think I'll be getting my butt wet this morning. Alright, so I'm at the junction to John Brooks Lodge. So I think I'm gonna head there first and see if anyone happens to have an iPhone charger, because that would save me a trip back to Rooster Comb, and then hike back towards the base of Little Marcy. I'll probably camp out there tonight. Alright, it's 3:23. Then I've just arrived back at Johns Brook Lodge. I'm going to top off on my water and then make my way to the Slant Rock lean-to. Well, I accidentally left my trekking poles at John Brooks Lodge when I was refilling my water, which is a bit of a bummer, but I was already too far from the lodge by the time I noticed. I haven't seen a single person the past few miles, and this trail does not seem like one that's frequented. But if this is what the last couple miles of this trail is like, that's definitely going to slow me down a little bit. I've been trying to cruise along at roughly 2 miles an hour. Oh well, here we are at Slant Rock. I just filtered some water and sat down and really took a look at the map. And as much as I want to go to Snowbird, it just doesn't make any logical sense. It's after 5 o'clock right now, and looking at the elevation, climbing up to Snowbird and then climbing back down Snowbird in the morning to climb back up to Marcy. Whereas from here, I can just shoot straight for Marcy. So I was heading up the Phelps Trail because all of the campsites down at Slant Rock were taken. Hiked up about another quarter of a mile, and this nice flat open space caught my peripheral, and I came in, and this is actually one of the campsites. This is one of the best I've seen so far. From here, it's about 2 miles to the summit of Mount Marcy. Of course, that's going to be a pretty big effort. So I'm expecting it to take a couple of hours, but I'm going to wake up bright and early tomorrow. All right, well, now that I'm not staying in an Airbnb or a lean-to, I can finally talk about some new equipment. This right here, brand new tent, is replacing my Marmot Pulsar one-person ultralight. This is the Big Agnes Copper Spur UL1. I decided to upgrade to this because it is a little bit lighter than the Pulsar. The Pulsar has definitely seen better days by this point. It's been on so many trips. And this is a single pole system. Much easier to set up than the old Marmot. And I've had to re-seam seal the Marmot twice now, so I figured a fresh start. This right here is the REI Co-op Traverse Bear canister. I will say it's a little on the heavy side, and while it may be bear proof, it is definitely not slug proof. These little ports right here where the pins are that you press in to untwist the modular canister, I had a bunch of slugs like inside of the threading, so when I had to untwist it and flick them all out of there, which is totally fine though. I mean, you expect stuff like that to happen. But overall, pretty good canister. It's a good size. It's modular, so if you're going on a shorter trip, you can take that whole middle section out and just have a shorter canister. Doubles as a table, which has been great for me. It's not too hard to open. Hard for a bear to open, not too hard for a human to open. You simply already have this one started. You just push the pin in, and then you turn it counterclockwise, and then it'll stop, and you go to the other pin on the other side, push that one in, and continue turning, and then it just twists right off. So it's pretty easy to get into. These are new. I've been a big fan of Ultra since 2018, and I've always shied away from boots. I've never had really great experience wearing boots, but you know, when I was looking into the Adirondacks, I heard about how muddy and wet it can be in areas, and my high country pathway trip a few years ago was ruined because of wet feet. These are the Gore-Tex Olympia 6s with a Vibram sole, so they're super grippy, they're super light, they're waterproof, but most importantly, they are extremely comfortable. Although the 2 days out in the Adirondacks have really beat the shit out of them already. And then the last new piece of kit is this C-Knock bladder and Sawyer squeeze. So I switched to this system from the Platypus gravity filter 4 liter, because that was a bit overkill for doing these single person adventures, or even when, you know, I'm out with my wife, that's a bit overkill. More of a group type situation. I was on the hunt for the perfect dinner spot, nice and far away from camp and away from the trail, and I'd say I found it. Today's dinner is going to be backcountry bison bowl, so this is going to be a new one for me. Sounded good, and it's got 930 calories, and I've got a couple snacks to have after this, just to cap it off, because I definitely need to replenish the calories. Ground bison and a creamy sauce with rice, beans, and buttermilk biscuits. I mean, that sounds pretty good, and it does look and smell pretty good. I had this eureka moment while I was sitting in the chair after dinner. I figured out that I can still do everything that I wanted to do. You know, tonight I'm staying at Slant Rock. Tomorrow I get up, summit Mount Marcy, and then head down the Phelps Bar Trail over to Lake Colden. And then I at Colden, and then wake up, come back down, heading towards Panther Gorge, and then shoot up to Snowbird. So stay there a night, and then the next morning, hike over to Basin Saddleback. From Saddleback, I'll drop back down to Ore Bed Brook, and then I'll head up towards John Brooks Lodge, then stay at a lean-to or a campsite somewhere out that way. Then the next day, which would be Sunday morning, I'll head back out via the Garden Trail and back out to my car at Rooster Comb. Should be a pretty easygoing short hike back out to the car. All right, it's just after 4 o'clock in the morning. Camp's all packed up. Just gonna load my backpack up and retreat my bear canister. Trail for Marcy. 10 minutes from sunrise. I'm kind of climbing the base of Marcy. There's a junction right here. This way would take you to Haystack. This is where I came from, to Slant Rock. And this is gonna officially start the climb to Marcy. And the nice thing about getting such an early start is every time I stop and turn around, it's just a beautiful. It's very cool right now. So the high is gonna be in the 80s today. So I'll beat the heat on the toughest part of my hike today. And then also, once I get to Colden, it'll still be kind of early. So I have a better chance at scoring a decent campsite. Wow, Slant Rock Trail leading up to Marcy, pretty gnarly. I mean, this is the trail. That's awesome, but dang, be prepared. No camping beyond this point. That's the view I was hoping for. The sun just crested the mountain. It's currently 6:30. Sunrise was at 6:05. We hit the trail around 4:45. And I'm just over halfway up Marcy, and I should be coming to the Van Hogenberg Trail Junction here any second now. Well, here we are. Trail Junction. And this way continues up Mount Marcy. Above the clouds, baby. Entering the Alpine Zone. I really like this one little cloud down here. Just hanging out. I'm pretty close to the summit at this point, but there's still a ways to go. Every shade of blue. This summer breeze. 7 a.m. and I've made it to the summit of Mount Marcy. I'm not alone. Please coming back. It's very cold up here, very windy, so I layered up a little bit. The thing I can't believe, I'm the only one up here. So, first to summit Marcy today. That's awesome. I'm gonna step off on the other side of this rock here. I'm gonna pop up my chair, I'm gonna make breakfast, and just hang out and enjoy the view for a little bit. I have nowhere to be in a hurry.
Up into the blue, where the days stretch on, and the living's true, strumming through the night, to the shadows fade.
Marcy, also known by the Indian name Tahawas, meaning cloud splitter.
This summer breeze, it fills my lungs, it makes me feel like I'm not alone. Leaves coming back, all colors strong, warmth of the evening goes on and on.
I'm in the southern Marcy.
This summer breeze, it fills my lungs. It makes me feel like I'm not alone. Leaves coming back, all colors strong. Warmth of the evening.
I don't want to come back down. I don't. All right, I've made it down off of Marcy, and I've come to the junction that'll take me over to Lake Colden. It's going to be, according to the sign, 3.7 miles to go. I've just reached the Phelps Brook crossing, which means I'm about halfway to Colden Lake. About to pass the Phelps lean-to, and then the next junction will be the uphill lean-to. I just ran into one of the NYDC rangers, and he was checking for bear canisters, so definitely make sure you have one here. I reluctantly do. All right, so I made it to my campsite at Colden. The Opalescent trail was pretty difficult. It was like mostly boulders the entire way. Absolutely beautiful, but after getting up at 3 a.m. and summiting Marcy, that just killed me. So yeah, I took a nap. It's 3:45 now, so I'm just out on some day hikes checking out the surrounding trails. My plan is tomorrow to hike back out on the Opalescent trail past Panther Gorge, and then up finally to Snowbird over Haystack. And then Saturday morning I'll be hiking over Basin and then over Saddleback, and then I'll drop back down into Ore Bed Brook. All right, it's 6:30 in the morning. I've packed up camp and I'm headed towards Panther Gorge. The Opalescent Trail is no joke. Well, it felt like forever. I finally made it to the junction to Mount Marcy or Mount Skylight, but I'm heading straight towards Panther Gorge, where I'll climb up to Snowbird over Haystack. So the Opalescent Trail was all uphill coming from Colden, and the Panther Gorge Trail looks like it's going to be mostly downhill. You can see just the tippy top of Mount Marcy there, and then straight ahead is Haystack, which is where I'm headed. Gonna try and stop at the Panther Gorge lean-to for a lunch break. Hopefully I can hold out. I'm already pretty hungry. Well, I made it to the Panther Gorge lean-to, but there's no real point in me taking a pack-off break because I kind of took a pack-off break when I stopped to filter water. So I'm just gonna continue on towards Haystack. All right, made it to my junction. It says that Haystack is a mile this way, and it looks like the trail goes straight up. This way would lead to the Au Sable property in the Adirondacks, Upper Au Sable Lake. So I need to turn my phone back on to take a video. There goes it. Dang it. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, there it goes. It's been a long, very difficult, but fun and rewarding climb. I've loved that the entire way up, pretty much every time I turn around. Mountains. And you're just getting higher and higher. A lot of this climb, you're just going straight up these steep rock slabs, but I've come across two of the Arctic alpine vegetation signs now, and I'm pretty sure I'm getting close to the summit now. I'm seeing rock cairns up there. I can actually see people up on top of Marcy. You can kind of make them out. I was the only one up there yesterday. At least for the hour and 15 minutes that I was up there. But God. I've got to say, I think that Haystack is my favorite so far. I absolutely love these views. The climb was such a fun challenge.
It's been a long day for change.
All right, made it to Snowbird Campground. Was on my feet at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's now 2:33, so about 8.5 hours of hiking today. Mount Haystack is definitely by far my favorite part of this trip so far. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. Just gonna take a little siesta and then go find somewhere to make dinner. All right, it's 5 a.m. I'm getting my tent packed up, and I'm gonna have breakfast and hit the trail by daybreak. I really like using these Justin's peanut butter packets because they punch a decent amount of calories, 210 calories for just this one little tiny pack of almond butter. It's going to be another hot one today. I'm already drip sweating, and I'm just in a tank top and running shorts. Once again, this is the trail out of the campsite and up towards the junction of the mountain basin. So today's goal is to accomplish summit of basin and Saddleback. Saddleback's the only thing I've really been scared about this whole trip. From here you can see Haystack and Little Haystack. So Snowbird is somewhere down in here. And this is the climb up. Continuing. The nice breeze just picked up, feels so good. The air just smells like pine, I love it. So that's Marcy, Little Haystack, and Big Haystack. And I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but this little orange spot right here in the very center of the screen, that's Snowbird Campground. And so yesterday I came down here, camped out there, and that's where I was this morning. I made my way down, and I'm currently on my way up Basin. Beautiful view right here. Still making my way up the Basin. I haven't seen a single person since I left Snowbird. It's kind of crazy to me. So I'm wondering if there's going to be anyone at the top or if people are coming from the opposite direction. I just passed the Alpine Vegetation Zone sign, and I'm starting to see the yellow spray painted arrows, so I think I must be getting close to the top. Wind up here is whipping, it's cold, so I think I'm gonna drop my pack for a second and throw on my Houdini jacket. Hello from the summit of Basin. I am the only one up here right now, which is surprising and incredible. All right, get down here out of the wind for a second. So the time is 7:40 in the morning. Just summited Basin, heading to Saddleback. My total ascent for this trip so far is 15,282. Total hike time is exactly 35 hours, and I've traveled a distance of 47.60 miles. So I will be looking forward to camp and a whiskey drink tonight. All right, straight ahead I can see my next destination, which is Saddleback Mountain. This peak in the middle doesn't have a name, it's just part of the range trail. But this is the part I'm least looking forward to, and that's climbing up these cliffs. The final boss is looming ever closer. There's Basin behind me, and I just made it to where the cliffs begin. I just ran into my first person of the day. I've been on the trail for 2 hours now. They were getting ready to do Habasa backwards. Basically, they're going to finish on Haystack for their 46th. But it gave me a little confidence about the difficulty of Saddleback. This is pretty insane. Well, I believe I just made it to the top of the cliffs. That was my introduction to rock climbing. That was actually a lot of fun. I was a little nervous about it, but if I can do it with a 32 plus pound backpack, you can do it. Definitely recommend coming from the Basin to Saddleback though. I do not want to go down this backwards. Well, made it to the top of Saddleback Mountain. It's currently 9:02 a.m. Got here a lot earlier than I was expecting. Only one up here. Shocker. Especially for Saturday. But all I have left is to descend down the other side of Saddleback and then head down towards Ore Bed Brook for my final night. So, nowhere to be in a hurry. So I'm just going to hang out up here and enjoy the view because it is beautiful. And I don't know when the next time I'm going to get to see a view like this again will be.
There was lightning, there was thunder, there was rain. As we hid beneath our shelter, all the doubts that we had felt came pouring in as a flood we had to face. Then came the sunshine, the clouds rolled back and color filled the earth. And the rain, it brought the flowers, you could sit and stare for hours. And the toil and the struggle showed its worth. Why do people climb a mountain? Is it just to reach the top and see the view? Well, I tell you something. Every rock and every river, every soul and every splinter, in the summer and the winter, when it's warm and when we shiver, I would climb every mountain.
I'm going to start making my descent and got a good view of Gothics straight ahead. Came to a nice opening in the trail heading down from Saddleback. Great view of Gothics right here. And I was able to spy with my eye. There's the chain route. You can actually see, if you look, you can actually see the chain going up the center of both of those bare spots. Well, maybe a little hard to see in camera, but very cool. Crazy to think, a few days ago I was climbing down that. Well, I'm officially off Saddleback, and I've made it to the junction where I ended my first day, pretty much. Heck yeah. Well, I'm taking the trail this way and heading back down to Ore Bed Brook. It's still super early, it's not even 11 yet. So I might push on past Ore Bed Brook and find somewhere else to camp, and then make my hike out to the car on Sunday even shorter. It is a beautiful day. I feel fantastic. This has been like the best thing I've ever done for myself, to be completely honest. Alright, it's 11:17 and I just made it to Ore Bed Brook. Looks like the lean-to is already occupied, so I think that confirms I'm just going to keep pushing on closer to the garden trailhead after filtering water here. And then that'll give me a really short hike out to my car Sunday morning, and it'll wrap up the best trip I've ever been on. Garden trail was a very pleasant hike. Much easier effort than yesterday, of course. 15,908 feet of elevation, 40 hours and 7 minutes total moving time, 55.55 miles total for the trip so far, and I have finally found my place to call home for the night. I was really hoping to bookend my trip with one of the lean-tos, and I am extremely surprised to find this one open, given that it's Saturday and pretty much every lean-to I've passed since this morning has been taken. So this one puts me super close to where I'm parked, So my hike out of here, I think I'll have probably like 4 miles max to get out to my car tomorrow. It's been a lovely trip. I'm gonna sign the logbook and make myself at home. Found myself a perfect little dinner spot up on top of a rock with trees growing off the top of it. And tonight's dinner is beef stroganoff with mushrooms. Smells mighty tasty. A little too hot to eat right now, so gotta give it a little time to cool off. Once I'm done with this, then it is on to celebratory whiskey drink. It's 6:17, so I'll probably hit the hay around 7:30, 8 o'clock. All right, it's 6 a.m. I've gotten camp all packed up and getting my water boiling for my morning coffee. And for breakfast, I'm just having a Bobo's bar, keeping it simple because I've only got a 4-mile hike out. Well, not much else to say. On the trail before 7 a.m. Not too shabby. Coffee was delicious. I'll probably have another cup at Noon Mark Diner. All right, we've made it to the garden parking area. I can see it straight ahead through the woods. So I just have a little jaunt through Keene Valley and back to my car. Breakfast was delightful. Had a Western omelet with a side of raisin toast and bacon and some coffee. Always great having a real meal after being out in the wilderness for that long, eating dehydrated meals and oatmeal. But yeah, heading back to my car now and gonna hit the road and get to my hotel. Just like that, we've made it back to Adventure Mobile 3.0.
Continue on I-87 south for 25 miles.
So I decided to split my drive in half on the way home because it is a long drive. And I have made it to my hotel. This is much bigger than I was expecting. Definitely don't need this much space. I'm not used to this in a hotel. But cool, yeah. I can spread out and really all I'm gonna do is sleep and probably go swim in the pool later. I am freshly showered and I am about to chow like you wouldn't believe. My stomach is literally turning inside out just looking at this. And you can't have a backcountry adventure this big without celebrating with a Frosty Boy. 8 o'clock in the morning, quick little breakfast, and then gonna hit the road 3 hours to Cleveland, and then 3 hours home from Cleveland.